You know that feeling like you're constantly chasing the next big thing, but instead of feeling fulfilled, you just feel, well, exhausted? Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful, kind of counterintuitive idea that might just flip how you think about success. We're talking about the quiet power of stable patterns. I mean, think about it. We're all told to break the ceiling, right? To be disruptive, to be a game changer. It's kind of drilled into us from a young age. Be ambitious. Go where no one's gone before. And look, on the surface, that idea of being special, it's super appealing. Who wouldn't want that? But here's the thought. What if all that chasing, all that disruption, is actually the very thing holding us back? What if the real path to freedom, to a truly fulfilling life, isn't about going up and adding more, but about going inward and simplifying? Okay, so that leads us right into our first big idea here, what the source material calls the ambition trap. Let's really dig into the hidden costs of that constant, endless climb for success. This quote really just nails it, doesn't it? We want to be unique and achieve things that others have not climbed. We all have that deep desire, right? To stand out, to tackle mountains that nobody in our world has even thought about trying. It's a super powerful motivator for sure. But, and this is a big but, this drive can have some pretty serious downsides. And here they are. The hidden costs of that climb. We get hit with more stress, this constant buzzing anxiety. And the crazy part is, we often feel like we're getting further from our goals, not closer. We're just exhausted from taking on way too much. We're trying to be everything to everyone, and we end up losing sight of what we actually want. So the key here, we're told, is to figure out what kind of ambition we're actually chasing. This brings up this really interesting concept, unorganized ambition. Basically, it's when you're doing things just because other people are doing them, that comparison game. Or maybe it's a reaction to something in your past. It's not coming from a place that's truly aligned with you. It's reactive, not proactive. And that's where so much of that stress comes from. So how does this unorganized ambition actually show up in our day-to-day lives? Well, it often morphs into a full-blown addiction, an addiction to disruption. This chart is just, wow. It's so revealing. Take a look. In our relationships, right? We chase that special, exciting, maybe even dramatic personality instead of looking for healthy, consistent patterns. In business, we get totally suckered in by the fancy packaging and slick ads, and we overlook the invisible stuff like amazing quality and service. And shopping? Oh man. We go for the trendy brand names instead of just asking ourselves, hey, does this actually work well and fit me? In almost every area, we pick the flashy thing over the stable one. So, yeah, it's a pretty bold statement, but it's true. We are addicted to the sensation of disruption. It's kind of like a sugar high, We crave that instant rush of something new and exciting, even when we know, deep down, it's probably not good for us long term. And it's this pattern that keeps us stuck in a cycle of chaos. Okay, so if we're all hooked on disruption, how in the world do we break free? Well, this brings us to a major turning point, a concept called the freedom paradox. And I'm telling you, this might just challenge everything you thought you knew about what it really means to be free. So let me ask you this, and I want you to really think about it. If I told you that life is supposed to be boring, what would you say? What's your gut reaction? I'm guessing for a lot of us, it's something like, no thanks, I'll take the chaos and excitement, please. And that right there is the exact mindset we're about to challenge. So, let's try a new definition of freedom on for size. What if it's not about having a million chaotic choices? What if real freedom is simply the state of being able to be your optimal self, both physically and emotionally? It's about having the capacity to really live your life, fully. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Discipline? That sounds like the opposite of freedom. We tend to see it as this cage, right? As something that holds us back. But is discipline really the enemy here? Nope. Not at all. In fact, it's the engine. Discipline isn't the enemy of freedom. It's what powers it. And that is the heart of the paradox. The very structure we fight against is the thing that actually sets us free. And look, this is how it works in real life. You have the discipline to eat healthy food, and what do you get? The freedom of more energy. You have the discipline to work out consistently, you get the freedom of moving your body without pain. You create stable routines, and boom, you get the freedom of mental clarity. It's all that boring stuff that actually builds the foundation for an amazing life. Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do we put this into practice? Let's check out this really cool model for success. It's called building an invisible life. There's this awesome analogy from the business world. Think about the best companies. In a way, they're kind of invisible, right? Their manufacturing, their quality is the #1 priority. Their delivery is so smooth you don't even notice it. The customer experience is great because nobody ever needs to complain. It just works. And the result? It's not a bunch of flashy hype. It's deep, long-term loyalty that's built on just being reliable. Now imagine applying that same model to your own life. That's the goal, right there. To be invisible. Because the quality is just right. The idea is to be so solid in our own habits, so reliable in our own foundation, that we become this quiet, supportive force. When the quality of your inner life is solid, you just don't need all that fancy disruptive packaging anymore. All right, this brings us to our final section, and it's all about action. Let's wrap all this up into something we can actually use, the quiet preparation formula. And here's the absolute biggest takeaway. Freedom should not come on the front end. It is earned on the back end. We've got it all backwards. We want freedom first, but real, lasting freedom, that's not the starting line. It's the finish line. It's what you earn after all the quiet, consistent work is done. So what's that front end work? Well, it's that boring stuff we talked about. Eating simple, healthy food. Actually sticking to a workout schedule, especially on days you don't want to. Getting to sleep early. Cultivating some kind of deep spiritual practice that keeps you grounded. Yeah, it's not glamorous, but this is the essential work that builds that solid foundation. And this is why it all matters so much. This quiet work builds a body and a mind that are strong enough to actually receive ultimate freedom. You're building a foundation that can handle whatever life throws at you, a system that can process challenges without spiraling into more drama and disruption. This is how you get ready for the real freedom you've been looking for all along. Which brings us to the final powerful question. It's a direct challenge to you. After hearing all of this, the choice is really yours. Are you ready to let go of the drama? Are you ready to embrace the quiet, steady power of stable patterns and finally find that real, lasting freedom you've been searching for?